let's talk about fraud in contact center and the future and how nice it is of the fraud prevention. So you presented Ricard nice very well. So I'll just give you a small glimpse on how vast nice. So over the last day, there were over 120 million calls that were recorded by NICE across 100 countries, and 3 billion financial transactions monitored every day. So it's a vast activity in various regions. And today I would focus on specifically contact center fraud. And actually, when we look into fraud, everyone talks about fraud. It's an ongoing problem, it never ends. And we see three major trends in customer engagement, fraud prevention. So fraud is on the rise, and especially those days during the pandemic, especially times of crisis are fertile ground for fraudsters. The voice biometric market is gaining a big importance and leading communication, becoming the leading communication technology. And of course, AI, which is the future of a lot of sectors and technologies, and of course, it's gaining a lot of traction. And let's discuss shortly each one of them, and then move on. So,
I see.
Yeah.
Really sorry to interrupt. Could I just possibly ask that maybe you can just bring the mic down a little bit more, just because it's a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
okay,
all.
Okay.
Just a bit inaudible
right
a couple
now?
of times.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah,
okay.
thank you.
Okay, sorry, apologize. So the situation in the last year created this perfect storm, right, where fraudsters see opportunities in the crisis, and we see in the contact centers work with, we hear stories about how fraudsters manipulate the system. There's a story to create empathy, and they talk about how they could call a contact center and say, "Oh, they're stuck in a country without money, or they're stuck at home during the lockdown." And actually, the FBI published that there's over 12,000 COVID-related scams that weren't there before. Yeah?
Sorry, I see we're still losing you a little bit in places. I'm not sure if it's just the volume level or it could just be the sensitivity of the microphone, but it's just.
It's the network, I guess. I can try to change the microphone.
You're really good at points, and then we lose you ever so slightly. Sorry.
Let me try. I don't think it's the microphone. It's the network. Let's try for a second. 1 second. Try to change the network. Better.
If you're just joining us, don't worry, we're going to get back on as soon as we can. We're just sorting out a couple of mic issues with OC just during the presentation, just to make sure everyone can hear her well.
So I tried to change the network. I hope it will be better now. Let me know.
The sound is really good. Yeah, the sound is really good.
Okay, good. Let me go back to presentation mode. So apologize everyone for the network issues. Yeah, it's the home office, as you can see, with my toddler's sketches on the wall. So that's the way we work those days, huh? Okay, so we know fraud is on the rise, and there's the call volume is rising to the contact center, of course, because people move for a remote activity, right? And they don't go anymore to the branch or to the bank. They just take the phone up and call. We hear there's many more cyber attacks, and those are a fertile ground for fraudsters to do an account takeover. And actually, we hear that account takeovers are a big issue for contact center. It's no more people just stealing, fraudsters just stealing, credit card numbers. They actually steal your whole identity. And this is, you don't always know where it occurs and how it happens or when, and it goes undetected many of the occasions. Moving on to the next trend. So voice biometric, we see a big growth according to this research company of the voice biometric market. So companies are looking for reliable solutions for authentications. And voice is something you can't change. It's something you are. It's not like the phone number or the phone ID or anything else. It's your voice. So it's very reliable. The technology has advanced sufficiently in order to get high matching capabilities. And there's an increased demand for those robust solutions. And we see how voice biometric grows. And it's not just helping preventing fraud. It improves the customer experience because at the end, when you're authenticated by your voice, you don't need to go through this whole authentication process with those knowledge-based questions. And it reduces the cost of operations as your time of the call gets shorter. And then the agent, it doesn't take 40 seconds to authenticate a caller. It could be in a natural conversation during the first few seconds. So there's a lot of benefits for voice biometrics, but it's not enough because authentication, it's only part of the story. It's letting the good guys in, but what happens with the bad guys? How do you keep them out? How do you proactively find them? And fraudsters are using also the technology that is advancing all the time. It's an armed race. They would leverage bots and artificial intelligence and all this digitalization and moving to work from home, and they would have sophisticated ways to go through the authentication undetected. Businesses need to stay up to speed and be prepared for that fight, and that's where we see AI popping all over, and it's going to be at the end the front line of the fight against fraud. So you can't just authenticate or your callers. You need to be proactive and you need to find those fraudsters proactively. And we hear from our customers that, which are leading banks and leading financial institutes and healthcare organizations, that 70% of their account takeovers might involve the live agent. So companies look at those trends and they would go and invest money in technologies, but mostly in the digital channels. And it leaves the live agent an open path for fraudsters to go in and take over the account. And it's kind of a catch. It's a catch 22 because the human factor is the weakest link. It's very easy to manipulate people and use empathy in order to take over an account. But then the fraud loss, the end fraud act would happen in other channels. So at the end, the fraud loss are understated in contact centers. And then the technology investment is difficult to justify in the contact center. It goes on and on. And it's an issue that businesses starting to understand the significance. And let's see a bit in more details how the account taker takeover journey happens. So we have this fraudster, and it's multiple steps during multiple, it could be even weeks or months until the final takeover. The fraudster would collect information, personal information about a person from the dark web, from social media. They can purchase today social security numbers, and we'll see such example later on. They could get account numbers, credit card numbers, and then we take all this information they found. They can find in Facebook your maiden name, your last place you lived in order to pass authentication. And they would validate that. They would make those short calls, small calls to the live agent, or whether it's the IVR, the automated answering and they would validate the information before they go on to do their high risk action. They would change the account information like the phone number and email address when they call the live agent, and they would use all those methods in order to pass authentication like voice over IP and phone manipulation, and of course the social engineering I was talking about. And they would go about after that to take over the account, and then they perform their fraud. It could be via the mobile app or web, But then you see the live agent is a crucial junction in the middle. And of course, there's other paths that don't involve the live agent. But if we look at that and we take out the majority of the activity of the fraudster, we are able to reduce tremendously the impact. So if we have 100% fraud cases, we are able to reduce 70% of them because all of those 70% will involve the live agent. And we look into fraudsters today in the contact center. They usually leave traces. It includes their voices. It includes their behavior, whether they ask to change the email address or to change the phone number. They would even the authentication is a trace if they get a match or a mismatch with any method existing today in the market. And we know the location and the device type and et cetera, et cetera. But if you look at any of those traces, you don't get to the actual fraudster. You need to combine all of them together and find the actual person in order to expose him. And today, we don't see a way to do that. And we just look at each one of those things separately. So there's a world of dots there that's waiting to be connected. And the fraud team is flooded with high-risk interaction alerts. So they get all those alerts. Okay, they get them and they see, okay, there's a match, there's a mismatch, there's a problem with the IP, the phone identification. But what do you do with all those things? You get all those all this information, but it's thousands, and like in a big contact center, you have millions of calls in a week or in a month, even a day. And then the percentage, even if you get 1% of mismatch, you have thousands of interactions you need to review every day and to find those fraudsters. And just the fraud team is unable to connect all those dots and look into all those cases. And a higher problem is when you don't see those that pass authentication. So actually all the solutions today of authentication, you get a mismatch and then it's an alert, you can go and review it and look for the connections. So, but we know that some of a lot of those mismatch might be legit activity. You see here it on the left of the screen, right? And you need to go and review those. But from out of those that pass authentication, we know there's a big amount of fraudsters there that go undetected. We know that for every fraudster that fail authentication, we'll have 3 to 4 fraudsters that would pass authentication. And those are the most problematic ones because they go on undetected, they succeed with their account takeover, and they will do it over and over again as they cracked the system, they found a method to do it and to pass the authentication. So those are gaps we identified, okay? You can't point out a fraudster, you can get notified of suspicious activity. The fraud team is flooded with a lot of alerts, but cannot investigate all of them. And there's this huge big blind spot where you miss the fraudsters that pass authentication. So at NICE, we were looking at those challenges. And in order to overcome it, we offer our fraud prevention suite. It actually proactively exposes the unknown fraudsters. It optimizes the fraud team efforts to focus on the most probable fraudsters. You actually get the fraudster a suggestion and you go review the fraudster and not just the interaction. And then you capture the fraudsters that also pass authentication and not only those that got a mismatch. And I think the nicest way to show it is with this short video. It shows a true story of one of our customers that we did a proof of concept for them. And just using one use case, we were able to save them $1.8 million in just this one proof of concept. And let's watch it and we can discuss it later. Just let me know if you don't hear the sound.
Leveraging artificial intelligence, we scan millions of calls to predict and detect fraudulent behaviors. When detected, we use voice biometrics technology to identify and expose these callers as they attempt to take over different accounts. Once we identify them, we are able to block them for good. And if they should ever try to call again, real-time alerts will be sent to the agent. Let's see how it works in reality. Meet Mr. SSN. He is a fraudster. His technique for taking over accounts is to change the user's address. He identifies using the social security number he got from the dark web.
Thank you for calling our customer care center. My name is Michelle. May I get your name, please?
Mark, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm okay. Looking at the news and getting tired of all this corona stuff.
That's all anyone's talking about anymore. No reason to look.
Yeah, I was calling as I'm moving into a new home this Tuesday and would like to update my address.
Okay, can I get your phone number listed on the account?
Yeah, I'm at work right now. I'm gonna give you my social security number. Are you ready?
Can you verify the number that we have on our account now?
198
Thank you. And your date of birth?
December.
And your new address, please.
It's 9.
So we have updated that for you. Not a problem.
Please make sure you delete the old address, because I don't want to get mail there.
It's all updated.
Can I verify my email also? I just want to make sure it's correct.
Sure.
My email is Mark.
Our fraudster Mark used COVID-19 as an icebreaker and easily changed the account address by bypassing the regular knowledge-based authentication questions. And the final strike, he updated the account email address to seal the deal. He can now complete the account takeover. Now let's listen to Jack. Does he sound familiar?
Thank you for calling our customer care center. My name is Jenny. May I get your name, please?
Jack, good morning.
And how may I help you?
I'm moving into my new home on Friday and I want to update my address. Let me give you my social security number.
Okay, sure.
This time, Jack became James.
Thank you for calling our customer care center. My name is Ellen. May I get your name, please?
James, how are you doing, Ellen?
I'm good.
It only took Mr. SSN 3 to 4 minutes to take over these accounts. To recover them, it took the real Mark, James, and Jack several very long calls. Our fraudster was responsible for 3 successful account takeovers, one undetected by the rightful owner, until we recognized his 5 interactions amongst millions and stopped him. In this single-use case of address change requests, we saved our customer $1.8 million in damages. Leveraging artificial
Okay. Okay, so these are like, it's a real story. Those are real scripts of real conversation. And just by scanning millions of calls looking for a change of address request, this fraudster was detected, but numerous more were detected, and that's how the bank the company saved us $1.8 million just with doing this one scan of millions of calls. And to sum it up, we use AI to detect the behavior, and we take all those traces and we connect them together, and then we use voice biometrics in order to group the same voices into clusters, and then again do another deep link analysis. We do the prioritization and we connect all the dots together, and then the team gets the list of the most probable fraudsters, and you can block them. And just to see here a short demo of how the cluster works. So all those interactions from various types of informations and use cases are clustered together, and then the list is prioritized, and we look into the number of calls, the number of account targeted, the call frequencies, etc. And the fraud team would get a list with very specific fraudsters to look into, and it's the UI is it's a full end-to-end product. You get a way to scan those fraudsters. You can click play in order to listen to those calls and analyze them. You see to what accounts they related and who they targeted and how frequent they call, and you see everything on the UI, and you get the full visibility. And then you can take action. If you find the fraudster, you just block him. The voice is added to the watch list, and next time he calls, he won't be able to continue with his account takeover. And actually, this is our solution, and it optimizes the fraud team's efforts. And addressing all of those points, I come to an end, and just say that, again, fraud is an ever-growing challenge, and we need to leverage the advanced technologies that we have in order to fight back and combat them. And please feel free to contact us for any further discussion. You can look up our webpage, you can request there for a demo, you can email me, and thank you very much.